team are on allowance, and they have a technical team which could be 50 people on allowance, and Bomas is being booked, people are being paid, people are working, people are researching around the issues, and there's nothing to come from it. The Deputy President said there's nothing to come from it. I think for me that is one is wastage of state money, but then secondly taking Kenya for granted. People went to the street, 50 people died, property was destroyed, people got injured, then nothing to talk about. Are you getting my point? For me, it's so cynical. So for me, that's a big issue. The second thing is that the people who are on the street, who died, who are injured, who lost property are not in Bomas. But the people who have nothing to talk about are in Bomas, because cost of living is an issue. Now, those are not part of the issues at the moment, because those should not be discussed. And then I'm hearing the issue of increasing, maybe, let's say, there's a possibility of a sort of, if there's anything like power sharing, if there's anything like that, which they say is out of the equation. So what is the end game for Azimio in this one? Again, that one I'm lost to it. If it was a national dialogue, the way they call it, because this is not a national dialogue, this is a dialogue between two people. If it was a national dialogue, then I could have realized that actually they have taken us seriously, that there was something which was wrong, and there's something worth talking about. And if I look at the issues there, the main problem that affects Kenya is not being addressed. Why we are where we are is not being addressed. Simba, before Moi retired, he had an MOU with Raila. MOU.
Yes.
Kibaki had Nusumkate with Raila, isn't it? Uhuru had handshake with Raila. So what is this one? Is it bipartisan? What is that? Then if we don't sort the deep-sitting issues which have been there since Moi time, 1997, to now, does it mean that after 2027 election, we shall still have another post-election negotiation? 2032, we shall have another post-election negotiation. What will your children ask you, Simba? You have been in this country since 1997. Every after election, we have post-election negotiation, where elections are settled 2 years after the election. Then somebody rules for 3 years, then we go back to election, and actually there's a campaign. The president is going to Western, isn't it? He was in Transmara, isn't it? And the other day, he was having a tour of Mombasa. And then he was touring Central. Is that where development takes place? For me, I'm asking myself question that, is this the kind of election we have? Simba, if I was president, I would be very clear if there was an issue to be addressed. The issue is the governance structure of the country, yes, where we have the presidential, pure presidential system. Once the president wins, he controls all key institutions in government. He controls judiciary, he controls legislature, he controls the executive from State House. Why am I saying so? The president is the single person who ensures how money moves. Nobody has independence in finances. Even the judiciary relies on the presidential money transfer. So for me, if we have governance structure where everyone will be better, like now IBC is not in place. IEBC begin independent electoral boundaries commission, isn't it? Is it independent? If it's independent, why is it after every election, IBC have to go home? Like this one, they have gone home. Can you have an independent institution that goes home after every election? That when Raila goes to the says now you cannot consider IBC. That when Ruto has won the election can say this IBC is wrong, should go home. They are not independent. For me, that is the main question whereby Kenyans will go to election knowing IBC will independently tally election and declare results.